Hello, 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 hello. I don't know if this happens to anyone but me, but first of all, before we go there, hi. It is your baby boomer Kittee Lane from the Peninsula in Virginia, back with another Create and Relate. So, in getting ready, how many of you, I know some of you are familiar with StreamYard. They take you into the studio, you do the mic check and all that good stuff. And then when you come into the screen, it says go live. So I hit that button. Y'all, I must have hit it like 20 times. It just was not cooperating. But I'm here. And I'm grateful to be here. And I'm grateful to see you all. And first of all, I want to welcome you and thank you for being here on this beautiful Saturday. Um, y'all, I have had an outstanding week. I'm super excited. I'm happy. I see that my enable lister is here. See, even being an enable lister, you still get hugs. Yeah, yeah. Please forgive me. I have a bit of a cough. I have been drinking my water and I have been sipping on tea. Okay, so the magic number is still the same, and I'm not mad at it. I'm not mad at it at all. I do want to ask that when you come into the room, please don't forget to leave your thummies. They're free. And those of you catching it on replay, please, please, please feel free to leave your thumbs. They count too. And comments. Love the comments. Um, share the videos. Please share the videos. I got some juicy stuff to share today. So by all means, please share the videos. And if you're not a subscriber, please consider doing so. That also is free. When you see that notification bell, make sure you hit the one with the dimples so that you always know when I'm dropping fresh new content. Yes, we got notes, of course. We have notes, but I condensed them today because I'm going off of memory. So we're going to see how that works. I'm going to skip the next item because we're talking about memory and I got to go back to that. So I'm going to talk to you what I call stocks and supplies, which is nothing more than a yarn haul. Y'all saw the deliciousness that I got on Thursday. Boy, can't wait to travel back to Dollar Tree to see if they have some of that papaya. Oh, so what had happened was I went to Walmart and there was one lady there I had not asked her favorite color. And she told me yesterday what her favorite color was. And she was kind of specific. So I went straight back to the yarn aisle and I got her favorite color. Yes, of course, you know that it is for worsted weight, its mainstay, and the colorway of light blue. There are 744 yards, and I'm going to couple it with, of course, white. Same specs except color. The colorway is white. What am I going to make with it? Who knows? I got 1,488 yards to play with. I have no idea. But when I went to Walmart earlier in the day yesterday, I got scared for a while, y'all, because I don't know if y'all remember, I was making myself an NFL blanket in the colors of blue and silver or blue and gray or blue, white, and gray or however you want to pull it as long as it's Dallas Cowboy colors. And I saw that they had some mainstay chenille yarn in that colorway. So when I went in there yesterday, they had four more of these. I don't know why I was having such trouble working with it the first go round because I could not wait. Here are two of them. I really want to show you all four, but I was so excited to stick my hook in them. I came up with this. Y'all, this is so lusciously beautiful. It is 80 inches wide, and as of right now, it's 15 inches tall, and that's two whole balls. And if you remember, I already have 5 balls in the closet. And between last night and this morning, I worked up those 2 balls. So the beauty in this is that, and that's all I bought. That's all I bought. But the beauty in this is that I know you remember me telling you about the Taco Tuesdays. Well, one of the challenges was to make something in your team color. I know that I'm not going to be able to create the blanket that I want in the size that I want. But as of right now, it could work as a scarf. It really could. It's like so. I had no idea that I would like the feel of chenille on my skin. So, working with this, I have come up with another idea for it. And I started to work it as that. And I said, no, I promised myself a blanket. And I have to stop promising to make myself stop and not following through. So, it's going to be a blanket. But it's going to stop for the moment once I finish these 4 balls. And it's going to look like a wrap for the purpose of finishing a project for Taco Tuesday. Just to say that it could go as a wrap, and I will specify that because I don't want to make it seem like I'm cheating. I don't like to cheat. You don't gain anything from cheating. So at the size that it'll be by then, which will be like um, 30 inches tall, then that'll be good for a wrap. 80 inches wide, 30 inches tall. And I'll probably model it because it's DC colors. Yes, y'all. And the other thing for Taco Tuesday, I know y'all are probably getting sick of seeing this, but I'm not sick of showing it. I have added sides to my left-handed granny square because one of the challenges that was vetoed was create a motif. And I always, I'm different. Yeah, I'm different. Okay, I give myself that. So knowing that it is Deaf Awareness Month, I made a ribbon for deaf awareness. I added a bottom to it, but I also, because I've been hospitalized for sepsis, then I made the sepsis awareness as well, which is red and black. And what I'm going to do is create a top row to this as well. And then I'm going to turn this into a square. Hence, adding the size here so that these will be connected. Do the colors go together? Not for other people, but I'll know what it means. So all of this is going to go together. And there's going to be something else either across the top or at the bottom. Or these will be switched around however I choose to do it. But it's going to be a wall hanging. And it is going to be significant to me. Okay. So see how I'm going into whips and everything is just kind of let it flow. It's just flowing on along. So I know I said that I would be finished with the scarf, but like I said, I couldn't wait to get my hook into that chenille yarn. Generally, I don't even like working with it, but it was just something, maybe the fact that it was Dallas Cowboy colors or is. I don't know. But have I worked on the scarf? Of course I have. Of course I have. Just didn't get done all I wanted to do, but I've been working on it. So this is where we are. We've started adding our dark pinks. And I like the way it's starting to get the width. What I decided to do too, guys, because I didn't like my corners rounding as much as they were. So on the ends, I'm doing double crochets. And the whole thing, other than that, is half double crochet. So I'm going to do those ends in double crochet. And I'm not even going to put a date on it that it's going to be finished. But it'll be finished soon. It will. I do know that I have a purple hat to make. I've done no more on my sweater, so my sweater is right where it was on Thursday, but I'm happy with it. I'm really, really happy with it. Okay, so we did the stocks and supplies, we did the whips and the FOs, quick health and weight update. About 324.8. Yes, yes. I'm happy with that. I am. Like I said, my threshold now is at 325 as long as I don't get above that. And y'all, okay, so I had a health assessment today. It was supposed to be the 26th, and the lady called me at 8:38 this morning and said she had a cancellation and asked if she could come today. Of course. Of course. And you get a $50 gift certificate afterwards. Of course you can come today. The quicker you come, the quicker I can get my gift certificate to Longhorn Steakhouse. Yes. So she had to do my height and my blood pressure and all that good stuff. Not happy with the blood pressure reading she got, but I kind of know why she got it the way she got it. Um, a lot of people automatically go under the assumption that your blood pressure is up there if you're of a certain size or have certain conditions. And she wasn't satisfied with the reading she was getting at first. And instead of releasing the cup, she continued to pump it from where it was, which will automatically give you a much higher reading. And I knew she was wrong because what she got was 180 over 102. If that were the real reading, I'd be in the hospital. Okay. So we knew that wasn't right. And then less than 5 minutes later, she's checking it again, and it was 150 over 96, I believe. And I'm like, yeah, first you ask me these really, really hard to deal with questions, and then you want to check my blood pressure right after that. Then you don't take it properly, but it is what it is. I know better. I know that I can tell when it's up. The palms of my hand are normal color for one, and I don't feel like my head is about to split. So we know better. But the amazing thing about the visit today was the fact that she checked my height. Y'all know I've been really bummed out about the fact that I was 5'4", and a couple of years ago they did my height and it was down to 5'3", and I'm like, I'm shrinking. So tell me, with no shoes on, they checked me before with shoes on, I'm 5'3". And now today, with no shoes on, I come in at 5'4.5". Okay. Okay, but I'm gonna be waiting for my $50 gift certificate to Longhorn Steakhouse. Yes, I am. Anybody want to join me? Okay, real quick, or not necessarily quick, but I got into a conversation with the nurse that came out, and she noticed that my wallet that had my information in it was crocheted. And as she looked around, she saw a crochet bag hanging on one of the drawers that holds the cake decorating supplies for my daughter. And as she turned around, she saw my bag on my scooter and the blanket that's on the seat of my scooter. And she was like, somebody crochets? Because I crochet. And I said, I crochet. And she asked me the most amazing question. You know, you always get, how long have you crocheted? Where did you learn? Those types of things. She asked me why. She said, why do you crochet? And it stumped me for a second because the reason I started crocheting wasn't even for me. So I had to take it to, why do I continue to crochet? And it's not only because it's repetitious and relaxing. Good morning, Sam. How are you, love? Look what I got. But like I said, not only is it the repetition, the rhythm, the movement, you know, the calming of it. It's the fact that I'm I'm a creator. My favorite toys coming up were Tinker Toys, Lincoln Logs, and Legos. I love to see things go from one state to another that's so different from the original state. This is different than this. And to take this string and turn it into something like this, or to tap into those creative juices and to do these, you know, not only ribbon, but thinking about how I'm going to turn this into a square and to actually be working on doing that, that fascinates me. The challenge, the, oh wow, it's hard to put it into words. I'm going to see if I can reach this piece over here so I can show you what I mean. Lisa Lark had a challenge some time ago. It was her greeting card challenge. We had to make something where you were inspired by the colors, and it was Christmassy. And I came up with this placemat, which is, it's three strands run together, and it's red, dark green, or Kelly green, and brown. And I trimmed it, or just kind of ran the white through, and I made two little coasters to go with it. You know, and I'm so, it was exciting to do. I had projects like that not only fascinate me, they it's like it just, I don't know, it makes my blood flow easier. It's like the rush is not negative. It's not a negative thing at all. It's calming, it's relaxing. And in the moments that it should be tense, it's it's more than, you're right. You're right. But we will survive the apocalypse. But the motivation of it helps you to, or helps me to push on to that next stitch, to see what that next component is going to bring. You know, how am I going to, what am I going to do with this double crochet that's different than what I've done before? Where am I going to place it that it's going to be different? Let's see if I can show you real quick something that I came up with while I was sitting on the front porch one day. A simple, I have to take it out once I do it, but a simple double crochet. And then, like the bean stitch, you pick up a stitch and go around that double crochet, pull it through, and do that three more times. It's like doing a cluster around that double crochet post. And then you yarn over and pull all the way through. In the first one, I always tend to drop it, but, and then of course, I do a double crochet in this stitch that I skip. But that's what it makes. And that to me is so pretty. And to have a bunch of those running along a round or a row together, it's just so cute. It's like they're kind of suspended in air a little, and it just, to me, it's like once I get going, I'm so excited that I did this one. I got to do the next one and the next one and the next one. And then when the end of that row is there, I'm almost a little disappointed, you know? But just to show you how they look when it's more than one. Isn't that cute? I remember a popsicle that they used to have where the ice cream itself would always lean to the side. Yeah. Yeah, it's just a few more. It's just I think it's like the bean stitches I've done in the past have only been one or two loops. And to make it four, and I've even done it with five, the fascination to me was the first time I did it in the round. So to configure the stitches or to make sure you have the right count for it to be done in the round. Oh, and not only the texture, Sam, but the process of going through it, doing it. And it's like it affords you just enough time to get to that threshold of it becoming bored. And then after that, you don't want to duplicate. You don't want the next row to be like this. Because then you will get bored. But you want to do something different. But it's the satisfaction of having done that row, having done that round, and to go back and look at it and be like, wow, that's pretty. That's what I did here. And you see what I mean? And you see how it ends up looking like little flags almost. That to me is so gorgeous. That's the component that I like about this one. Yeah, yeah. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. But that is why I crochet. To see things transform into something absolutely beautiful. That is just, that's a beautiful thing for me. Also, okay. Also, I crochet because it keeps other people around me breathing. It keeps them in a happy space because when I can grab my crocheting and come into my little corner of the world and block everything else out when it starts getting chaotic, then it keeps me calm and it keeps them safe. And I'm sure you all know what I'm talking about because they know when grandma goes in there and she grabs that hook and that yarn, it's time to leave grandma alone because grandma is taking out her frustration. That's what grandma is doing. And we need to leave grandma alone. Yeah. So that is the second reason I crochet. So that I don't have to call on any of you for bail money. I'm not that bad. Lori! Hello, my twin in stitches. How are you? Oh my goodness. Okay, so what I want to tell you guys. So around 2:30 Monday morning, My son got here from San Antonio, Texas, my son and my daughter-in-law, and the hotel room was not ready, of course. And excuse me, the initial phone call that he made for a place to stay, they didn't answer the phone. So he calls me. He's like, "Mom, I'm sorry to call you so late." I'm like, "Late?" That's how I know what time it was because I turned around and looked at the clock. I'm like, "Oh, I didn't know it was that time." And he says, "Well, I called and I couldn't get an answer, and the hotel room is not ready." I'm like, "So why are you not here?" He was like, "Oh, so it's okay. It's okay." Exactly. Thank you so much, my enabler. But he came, they got a good night's sleep. They got up later that Monday, got out and did some running around that they had to do. They came back a little bit later, um, just to spend some more family time. They got all the running around done that they had to do during the week. On Wednesday, I had my doctor's appointment. They came by yet again, and I was tickled pink to see them. On Thursday morning, I had my breakfast date with my son and my daughter-in-law. Y'all, we sat in there, we giggled, we laughed, we talked, and the funniest thing was when the servers were arguing. I couldn't hear them. All I know was that there was something going on behind me. The way I was sitting, my back was to them, and my son and daughter-in-law were facing them. And my son, nothing phases him. Not, my son is Cancer. If you know Cancer, nothing phases them until it does. And when it does and it's negative, everybody runs. Okay. They are like a firecracker with no wick. They are. But at any rate, he's sitting here and he's eating his catfish and shrimp, and I'm enjoying my liver, my smothered liver smothered with onions and gravy with the rice and the collards. And Jenna's looking and she's laughing. She's like, "Kick, kick, 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 kick." So all of a sudden, I'm asking her, "Jenna, what is so funny? What's going on?" She was like, "I don't know what they're arguing about, but the servers are arguing about something, and she's sitting here and she's so I was like, "So tell us, give us the tea." So she's translating what she thinks they're saying. And it's so funny the way we interpret things because she was saying something so totally off the wall. She was talking about like the weather and the effects it has on everything in the world. She was like coming up with really off the wall stuff. So I'm sitting here and I'm like, reporting to you live from Tommy's restaurant. Here we have Jenna. Jenna, can you tell us about the situation now? And she's like, "Yes, Kitty." Blah, 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 blah. There were some Navy guys some sailors sitting next to us. They were cracking up. A family came and sat behind them. And when they realized what we were doing, we had the people around us laughing so hard. It was so funny because if I didn't, I would sit here all day and do nothing and wallow in self pity. No, Sam, I'm glad you crochet. I am so glad you crochet. Goodness, love it for them. It's almost a second chance to enjoy their kids because it was not around. They were always working too hard. Oh, yes. I like making gifts too, Lori. I do. That is one reason. That's another reason that I crochet because all this beautiful yarn, yes, it is beautiful, but it's more beautiful when it's turned into things. And if I held on to everything I made, I would have nowhere to live. I wouldn't. I wouldn't because 85% of my day I spend crocheting. And that's why I end up with a lot of whips. But I'm going to try to focus the rest. I'm going to try it. Try. 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 I'm going to try to focus on getting some of these whips done by the end of this month. I'm going to work on it. I'm going to work on it. And I know Jonah's going to hold me accountable. I know you are, sis. I know you are. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. But y'all, it has been, oh yeah. I think the finale was probably the best part of the visit because I was sitting at the bus stop waiting for the kids to get off the bus. And I saw the Jeep when it pulled into the parking lot. And my son pulls up and he's like, yeah, we're going to be pulling out about 7 o'clock tonight. And we were just going to kind of chill over here. And if that's okay with you, of course, I tossed him the keys. I'll see you when I get there. I get the kids as soon as Pete gets off the bus. I'm like, I got a surprise for you at the house. So I'm following him on the scooter. He's running all the way to the apartment. I heard him when he opened the door. He's like, Uncle Melvin. So that was worth it. Of course, I had to do baby girl a little different. When she got off the bus, I was like, yeah, we got to get home. And they never take me seriously certain times. I have to look a certain way so they won't. And I was like, yeah, we got to go find Pete because he got off the bus and he ran away. And she was like, ran away? I was like, yeah. He got off the bus. He put his boots on the ground and he was gone. I looked at him. He had disappeared. I said, so I'm going to go in and I guess we'll have to call your mom and let her know what's going on. And then we'll probably have to see if we can go find Pete. She was like, okay. So unbothered. So unbothered. So she gets in. She didn't see Uncle Melvin and Aunt Jenna right away. She goes and she gets ready to put her shoes up. And by this time, they had stepped from the hallway. She turned around to go hang her jacket up. She's like, Uncle Melvin, Auntie Jenna. That's her excitement. Of course, that just made my day. And Jenna bought both of them bought Destiny. If you remember me telling you, she's my little fashionista. She literally designs things for her dolls. Head wraps, attire, shoes. She will take my little yarn pieces that we generally throw away. She will come get those and she will tie them together until they look like little knots because these are Barbie dolls. We know they have teeny weeny feet. And she will slide their feet into those knots and they become their shoes. She will take longer strings and use those as belts. She has taken, excuse me, and tied them together in a way that they look like a skirt. My bunny lies over the ocean. My bunny lies over the sea. My bunny lies over the ocean. Now my bunny's right here with me. Hi, bunny. Yes, so my little fashionista, she got a little designer um, outfit, I'll say, but it had all kinds of materials in it. It had a mannequin in it where she could actually design attire for her dolls. Y'all, it was the cutest thing. And when it was given to her, all I could say to Melvin and Jenna was, how did you know? How did you know? Oh my goodness. So last night when I went and got the blue and white yarn, I got the hip. I got the I got her a tote, a pink tote, so that she could keep all of that in one place along with her doll babies. So all of that'll go together. Sometime a little later today, we're going to go reassess the toy situation for both of them because she also got a ceramic unicorn with all the paint so she could paint that any way she wants. Y'all, this, and that wasn't even the biggest part of it. I told you all that I raised 35 kids. So there were a lot of other, there was a total of 29 boys and 6 girls. So 2 of the boys said that they were coming. My other sons said, I did too. I want one too. But 2 of the boys said that they were coming yesterday, but only one of them showed up. Yeah, I was so super excited to see the one that I saw because it had been probably about, I'm going to say 7 or 8 years since I had seen him last. Oh my goodness, it was so good to see him, and he just to go down memory lane, um, and all of us being here together. My youngest daughter was at work and she was kind of bummed out because she thought that she wasn't going to be able to see her brother and sister-in-law off. But she called me like as we're all standing on the porch and she's like, Mom, have they left yet? And I'm like, we're all standing on the porch right now. She was like, hold them up, please. I'm on my way. I'm right here at the exit. So I knew that meant she was like 3 or 4 minutes away. You know, and I'm hearing her in the background, get out of the way. Move over. So all of a sudden we look up and we see this white Amazon truck coming down the driveway, and we knew that baby girl had made it here in time to see her brother and sister-in-law off. It was so much fun. That, oh my God, y'all, it was a beautiful week. It started out really good and it ended up fantastic. Was a little bummed out with the fact that I was not able to go back with him. And then when everything played out the way it did, I know that God has a way of telling us sometimes we got to sit down. And I just got to sit down for a little while, but I'm still going. We already made that, we already had that discussion. I am still going to Texas, just not right now. Not right now. If everything had played out and I had gone, I'd have been stuck there. I would have been stuck there because I don't have the proper credentials to get on a plane. So I have to secure that first. And then I can go to Texas. And I can spend time down there in the brand new house with my son and my daughter-in-law and meet Auntie Seta, yes, and sit and crochet with her, yes. So yes, y'all, I do be having plans. I do. I do. But let's see here. So see, I actually finished a round with y'all. Oh yeah, they are. They are. They are. I had a couple of people to tell me, well, you could still catch the plane without having the real ID. And I'm like, yeah, but you at least need your birth certificate to do that. And she was like, oh yeah, well, I'm like, yeah, precisely. So, okay, I am 1 round down. That is round 7, I believe. This is round 6. So I have 4 more rounds. I'm doing good. I'm doing great. Who remembers that? Tony the Tiger for Frosted Flakes. They're great. And Kool-Aid. Hey, Kool-Aid. Oh, yeah. Nostalgic moments. I mean, that's what's been going on this week. I might as well continue it, right? Who remembers? I just started this the other day. Um, Please don't squeeze the Charmin. please don't squeeze the Charmin. And then at the end, you see him. They're like, Mr. Whipple. Y'all remember that? Or is it just me? Yes, 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 yes. I think that was the part that disappointed me the most about not being able to go. Not being able to meet Auntie Seta. So I did more than just, say that I couldn't get down there to meet her. I called her and let her know. And she was so comforting. She was like, I know you're disappointed. I am too. And, but it's going to be okay. When the time comes, she said, either I'll come there or when you get here. She was just so sweet. And Bonnie, I'm the end of 63. I'm December 63. Yep. So we are the last of the baby boomers. We are definitely the last of the baby boomers. So, y'all, I can tell you about an idea that I have that's not crochet related. Of course, it's going to have crocheting in it because it's about my life. And it's a book or either a chapbook or it may even grow to be a book. It depends. But it's about my experience being disabled and right at that age where you're not quite yet a senior, but you're too old for the new age generations, because us baby boomers came along during the time of transition. You look at it at the beginning of the baby boomer um, beginning of the baby boomer generation, the psychedelic mind benders, I'll say with the initials L at the beginning, D at the end, S in the middle, was introduced to the United States, you know? So we had, we came along in the period of the peace, love, the freedom era where everything was kicked back. We also came along when the misconception of women's power was out there. That whole concept to me was so misunderstood, and it still is, because women were asking to be treated human and the same. If I do the same job you do, pay me the same pay. But we never asked men to not assume their roles. We never asked to be thrust into that avenue, that lane. We're just saying, if you drive a Ferrari and I drive a Ferrari and we both cross that finish line at the exact same time, then either pay us both the same price or split it in half. Don't say because he's the man and he pushed harder and he drove harder that, he gets 75%, we're going to give you 25%. No, because I drove just as hard and I drove just as fast. And I actually encountered that when I came to Virginia from Carolina after graduating from carpentry. Um, I got a job at National Roofing, and the I had my certification in carpentry. The only other person who had papers on the job was the foreman, the supervisor, the head honcho guy. No one else did. Just me and him. Yet and still, I was given all the grunt work. I could understand the first week or so being given the grunt work just to see if I could cut it. But when you saw that I could cut it, then you never allowed me to read the blueprints. You never allowed me to hammer a nail. You never allowed me to place in the sheathing. You never allowed me to top off the ridge cap. I'm telling you all of these components, but you could send me up and down the ladder and have three or four guys down at the bottom watching me as I go up the ladder. And then you pay me $8 an hour, but you hire somebody off the street and start them at 20? Are you serious? They have no credentials behind them? Yeah. Yeah. So I understood the movement a lot more than a lot of people that I know. A lot of testosterone people, testosterone charged people that I know. They tend to throw in our faces as women, well, you asked for this. This is what you wanted. No, we asked for equality. We asked for equality in pay. We didn't ask to switch roles. That's not what we asked. But those are the types of things that I grew up with in my era. I even went to um, a segregated school for the first 2 years and then, moved over into integration. Came along during that time. So it the things that we go through now, but even in that, we learned things like respect and manners, and we had values. And when there was someone older around, we didn't we said yes and we said no. And when they called us, we didn't, huh, what, we didn't do that. And we would rush to hold the door open for someone older, females too. And the guys, even back then, they would rush to hold doors open for even little girls, you know, hold the door open, hold the door open. But we got to figure God put it in us. My mom is a baby boomer. We grew up different. Okay. But what I'm experiencing now is someone can see me coming with a scooter and they will rush to get in front of me, go on a door. And I'm not the only one saying me because, right now I'm talking. But they will rush to get in front of me, go on the door and let the door close, you know, or know that I'm trying to get past to get back when the doctor calls me and stand right there and almost giggle when I turn around and choose an alternate route to go all the way around the waiting room to get to where I could get to, simply because they refuse to either step forward a step or step backwards a step, or things like when I'm in the grocery store and someone wants something where I am, the simple excuse me, I can't read your mind, or seeing me struggle to reach something from the top shelf and no one says, can I help you with that? And when I'm getting the case of water, because we drink the great value, we drink the great value water. So I get the 40 pack and I have to drag it onto the scooter. And sometimes there are actually Walmart workers right there. No one stops and says, let me help you. I take that back. Out of approximately 40 to 50 Walmart workers I see a day over in my Walmart, I may run into one who's willing to help. The most recent thing that happened was I went over to get laundry detergent and our Tide is locked up because they have such a problem with theft, for one, and people doing things like opening it and pouring it all over the floor, or busting the pods all in the floor. So they lock it up. They don't do it with the other detergent, but they do it with the Tide. I asked one of the workers if they could please open the case for me. And she says, I would, but I don't have a key. Okay, okay. And she went back to work. There was a lady standing beside her that was working there. She never even looked up. So then I heard the walkie-talkies go off. I'm like, hold up, wait a minute. They got walkie-talkies. So they can call somebody who has a key or ask, you know, okay. So as I'm getting ready to pull off, another lady comes up that wants something. Of course, she's not handicapped. She goes over and tries to open the case. And she says to the young lady, how do I get my detergent out of here? She says, I have to go get someone with the key. So I'm in the in-between world a few ways here. You know, first of all, I can't walk up to her. I'm sitting on this scooter. Secondly of all, and I can't even say, I don't even think it was a race issue at this point because the other lady was Hispanic, you know, but she was able to walk around a lot better. There was an obvious age difference. She was closer to their age than I was, but to hear the walkie talkies go off and to still have to sit there and wait 10 minutes before somebody came, you know, and I see guests walk by the store and they're shopping and they're like, "Oh my God, you're still here?" You know, and I'm like, "Yeah, because I refuse to invest another 20 minutes to ride over the Kroger's just to have to. Why go out of my way when what I need is right here?" You know, but we put a fix to that when we got back home. We signed back up for Walmart Plus, and when we need big things like that, we will order them from now on and let them bring them to the apartment. They say there's more than one way to skin a cat, but the other side of that is when I go to Walmart, I have to travel down the street that's beside our um, apartment to get to Walmart. Now, I can either ride in the street or on the sidewalk. Now, you're really going to see where the in between comes in. Riding the scooter in the street is scary. Doesn't matter that we have reflectors on the back and a headlight on the front. It's scary because we're not as tall as a car, unless it's a sports car and it's really low. And we're not as wide as a car. So lots of times we're ignored. Riding on the sidewalk where other people are walking, they feel that you, the rider of this medical vehicle, are being disrespectful and taking up the sidewalk with wheels. So it's like, where do we go? What do we do? You know? So that's why I feel like I'm living kind of in an in between world. And there are other things that have come up, but I've made it a point now to start jotting things down, you know, and that way when I get ready to write this, I'll have all of my little notes to pull from where I can share it with everybody. But like I said, that was just a few of the things that I've experienced. So if there are any of you out here who are in this world with me, in this in between world with me, let me know about it. You know, go to my community post page. Some of you have my email addresses listed in the description box. Send me an email. Some of you have my numbers. My number. Give me a call. Send me a text. Shoot me a uh, um that too. Like I said, email and tell me about it. You know, because there's got to be some kind of way that, and I'm thinking a book where more people will have access to it and they can read about it and it'll at least make them think. It'll at least make them say, hey, I never realized. Hey, I never knew. You know, when you go places and you got just a little bit of gray hair, but and no wrinkles in your face, they don't see you as a senior citizen. So they don't treat you like, you know, in their mind, you're 18, like they are, and and they disrespect you. Oh my goodness, the disrespect. But yeah, yeah, those are some of my in between experiences. So I'm gonna put pen to paper, and I'm gonna make that happen. Not saying right now because I'm still compiling stuff. So I'm definitely going to make that happen. But in the meantime, in between time, I want each and every one of you to stop, take a moment, look in the mirror, and I want to tell you what I see. Imagine me on the other side of that mirror, and I'm telling you, you are beautiful. You are worthy. You are enough, and I love you. That goes out to each and every one of you. And I want you to feel that. Don't just hear it, feel it because it's true. It's sincere. And also, I want you to remember to be bold, be brave, be beautiful, and behave. Remember, Kittee Lane told you, and please remember that Kittee Lane loves you. So until we see each other again on these YouTube streets, peace out, everybody.